darkness is beautiful, for how else can we shine?